The individual on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, hails from the beautiful island of St. Maarten. He has been the country champion of the Green Synergy competition, which we're going to get into in its inaugural year and his second year. And he was also the runner-up of the Green Synergy DJ competition for 2 years as well, the first year and the second year, right? Yes. He has toured and done shows all over the world. And I think it's a little bit of an injustice that some of us here in the lower parts of the Caribbean may not know about more information about him. So I'm actually very, very glad that we have him here this evening to have that discussion. He is also a member of Shadyville Caribbean, which is a branch off of Shadyville Entertainment. And that's an established group under Aftermath. And we're also going to get into some details about that. And I will say that he's one of the few DJs within the region that has been featured on BT 106 and Park as well, which is something that's going to be very interesting for me to talk about. Because again, some point in time in our discussion tonight, I really want to get to the difference between actual international DJing and what we consider Caribbean DJing, which I think is an important part of the discussion. Definitely. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chantry C. Hodge, aka
you know, I gotta applaud you because not few people could get that name right off the bat. So applaud you.
Yeah. Chantry C. Hodge. I do my homework, bro. I do my homework. AKA the cut creator, Mr. DJ Outkast. What's going on, brother?
Thank you so much for having me. Shout out to you, my brother. Shout out to Cha-Cha. Shout out to the entire Groove Theory movement. You guys have been doing a phenomenal job throughout this COVID lockdown with the lives and everything, with the one-on-ones. I've been following it. I'm a huge fan of what you guys do. And the movement of Caribbean DJs moving forward all together on a whole. I am a huge supporter of what you guys do. Job well done. Shout out to Cha-Cha one time.
Thank you so much, man. I mean, as Cha-Cha was saying last night when we had Back to Basics on, is a collective right now that actually putting together this energy and sending it out to different people. And you know, the fact that there are so many people in this COVID-19 situation that have been looking for forums like this to learn more and looking for platforms to be able to know more about DJs that they see, or some DJs that they don't even know. And that's what I said at the beginning. I think that even though DJ Outkast is a really, really big name, I do believe that there are some people, especially in Trinidad and Tobago, that might not know you. But I think that your story and your experience is something that could translate to so many other people to learn. So I'm very, very happy to have you tonight. In addition to which, I also have to say thank you so much for understanding on Monday, because as you know, we were supposed to link up on Monday. But I really do appreciate the messages that you sent, especially given what was happening at the point in time. So I really, really appreciate that. So thank you very much as well, brother.
Yes, of course. I mean, at the end of the day, things happen on the drop of a dime. So I fully understand, brother. And I just hope everything's okay on that end. And, you know, I'm not going to get into it, but I just hope everything is good and everything has been sorted. And I'm just, you know, grateful for life. And we all here tonight and we make it happen still.
Yeah,
you know?
Everything is good. Everything is good. So I guess for individuals, first of all, that may not know what country you are from and kind of like the makeup of the country, tell individuals who don't know, other than the real cool airport that's next to the beach, tell them about St. Maarten. No, it's the truth. Anybody who knows of St. Maarten, just know you can stand up by the beach and a plane can take off and you can get some exhaust coming and fly back in the water.
That's one of the two things we're known for.
Right. So outside that, I mean, for everybody that may not know, tell them about St. Maarten from your perspective and how has St. Maarten been dealing with this COVID-19 situation?
I mean, okay, so first of all, St. Maarten, if anybody doesn't know, it's a 37 square mile island, very, very small island. It is governed by two different countries. Believe it or not, such a small island. We have a border. We have two different governments, two different elections, two different carnivals. Everything.
Seriously?
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that.
Right.
Like, we govern by two. French side, Dutch side. The French side is a little bigger than us on the Dutch side. Side. And yeah, it's crazy knowing a lot of people come here and just be completely bugged out that we're governed by two different nationalities, one French, one Dutch. We all carry a European passport, but the French side has the French, we have the Dutch, but still a strong passport to carry.
Right.
It's crazy when you think about it. You try to explain this to people and people be bugging like, you're really governed by two different nationalities. We have a border, and especially now with this whole COVID thing going on, they had the borders closed at one point. You couldn't go from side to side just easily like that because they were trying to, like, you know, isolate the COVID outbreak, which is understandable.
Right.
As a country on a whole, I think we've dealt with the whole outbreak on as best as, because at the end of the day, when you really look at it, there's no country in the world that exactly had a game plan as to how we was going to go forward with this. Everybody was in uncharted waters, and everybody was just, you know, going along the best way that they see fit at the time. Like we're in a hurricane belt, so we have things in store. We have things planned in our that in case of a hurricane that we know what the protocols we have to follow. We had absolutely no protocols for this, brother. No country did.
Right.
No country did. So at the end of the day, all we could have done was try to isolate it the best that we could, and, you know, try to move forward. I mean, shout out to all of those frontline workers. Let me tell you something. I am married to a frontline worker. My wife is a nurse in the emergency room, and I know the protocol. I see what she has to go through when they're dealing with COVID patients and all of that. We actually had to relocate our kids temporarily because as she's working with COVID patients, we didn't want to risk them being exposed to it. So believe me, it was a difficult time. It is still a difficult time because we're slowly going in phases as to opening back up the country. Our airport is still closed. The airport that you mentioned, you can't even see no planes take on over the beach right now because our airport is still locked down.
Right.
But we're slowly getting back into the groove of things, and hopefully we could be open back up to the world soon and be what we're known as. We're known as the Las Vegas of the Caribbean for a reason.
Right.
Because damn near anything goes here, bro.
and it's so interesting, which is something that we'll touch on later on in terms of the challenges that your country has faced, and how as a creative, because again, DJs are creatives. If anybody wants to understand it that way, DJs are creatives. It's so interesting to understand how you guys have been affected by so many challenges, but you can still stay in a particular zone, and that's something I really want to come back to at some point tonight. But again, and every single live that I have, I'm going to mention this. A couple of weeks ago, when I had Just Jay, Just Jay told me he doesn't believe in our press kit, right? So
he said,
he said he doesn't believe in our press kit. If you don't know, you already don't know. But if you know, you know now, right? That was his way of looking at it. But I understand the principle of what he's talking about. At the same point in time, it is important to me because for so many people that I haven't really met and known in that way, getting information, you guys, really helps me a lot in terms of understanding the etymology of your career and where things really began. Right. And one of the things that I thought was so interesting in the beginning of you actually going along a musical line is that your father actually owned a record shop in the earlies. How profound was that in affecting your wanting to be a DJ? And if you could give us an idea, like, was it that he had a record shop as business to sell records, or was it that he was a DJ and that was also part of his business at the point in time? It's
a mix of both. It's a diverse mix of both. Let me down to like the crazy part is my dad. He had a record store on the front street of St. Maarten. It was known as Al Hodge Records and Electronics. You can ask any of the old school Trinidadian artists about my dad, and they'll probably curse a couple of bad words after him, and I'll explain why. He had a prime location in town on Front Street, and he was very well known for that. And the crazy part about it is I was exposed to that from an early age and had no interest in it. That was a crazy part. It was after when he shut the store down is when I picked this up. Right. But in a way, it worked out for the best because I got all the equipment. I got all the music records. It worked out for the best. So it worked out for the best. My dad told me all kind of crazy stories about some of the people that came into his store. My dad told me stories about how a short, big Afro kid by the name of Michael Jackson walked into his store and bought tapes. And my dad was infamously known, not for, I mean, he sold records, he sold cassettes and all that, but he was mostly well known. He kind of started it. And like I said, a lot of people cursed him out for it. He was kind of the one that started the whole bootleg thing, man. In what way? In what way? My dad would take all of the hit records and put them all back to back on mixed cassettes and sell them. Right. And I could tell you from Shadow, God Rest His Soul, to Crazy, to Kitchener, to all of them came in the store yelling at my dad, throwing a cassette at him. And it was, oh boy. Shout out to Barry Hype. I see Barry.
Yeah,
Hype.
see Barry. That's why I laugh. I see Barry laughing at this. So in Trinidad, and anybody here from Trinidad would know this. I would say that piracy is like a culture here, especially around Carnival time, because you could go down to the capital, Port of Spain, and there will be guys with these carts that are on the road with speakers, and the whole cart is lined with CDs. So usually when tourists come and they're looking for a music CD of all the hits, they'd be like, yeah, well, I have the hits here on one CD. And you could probably get that CD for like $30 as opposed to trying to buy it either through a record pool or however. You know? But so I think piracy within the Caribbean has still remained very strong since then.
It's not going anywhere, my brother.
Yeah. So what do you think was the catalyst for change? Because as you said, when you had the record store, you really wasn't that interested at the point in time. I'm interested enough before I ask that question. Because that's something I picked up with Puffy when I spoke to him. He wanted to be a computer engineer. At that point in time, what career did you have set out for yourself that you wanted to do?
You good.
Oh, this should be good.
No, I'm already seeing everybody's going to start laughing at me in the comments.
This should be good.
It's going to be great because all of y'all.
I'm listening. We waited to hear.
My dream was to be a wrestler, brother.
Hold on. So you're saying to me and everybody listening, and big up everybody in St. Maarten right now, that you wanted to be a member of the World Wrestling Entertainment. You wanted to be a wrestler.
It was my dream at that point. I swear to God. I'm not even lying.
I think I saw on your Instagram that you were a big fan of Bret the Hitman Hart.
He was my idol.
Oh.
He was my idol. I swear to God. I kid you not. Sorry.
So hold on. Now, first of all, right? I'm not gonna downplay this. I'll tell you why I'm not gonna downplay this, because last year on my visit to New York, I actually went to WWE Raw, which was held in the Barclays Center, and I went totally crazy when The Undertaker came out. So for anybody,
you was there for that?
Yes. This was the night, and I know everybody now go and laugh at both of us, right? But that is okay. That's fine. So the night after WrestleMania last year, I was in New York. I was supposed to go to WrestleMania. Didn't get tickets because obviously they're hugely expensive. And I happened to get tickets for Monday Night Raw.
The Raw after WrestleMania?
The Raw after WrestleMania. And I got to see The Undertaker come out, which I have on video right now.
Dude, send me the video, please.
Totally serious. Totally. Everyone, all I can laugh, you guys can laugh, but I don't think people understand the how much you're connected to your childhood.
No. Forget all of that, bro. To show you how deep I was, I went to the training.
Wait, hold on. No, hold on.
Hold on, wait. I went to the training, brother. I went to the training.
As in the performance center in Florida?
That way before performance centers days.
What the hell is this, boy?
Way before. Dude, I have a great relationship with the people now by WWE. We were in talks of having an event here in St. Maarten and bringing it to the Caribbean and all of that. And I made good links with the company, and they're always inviting me out there for the event. But I always get, you know how many times I was double booked for WrestleMania and I was damn near ready to cancel the booking to go? That's no joke, bro.
Wow.
That's no joke. But as the story goes, it didn't work out in my sense.
I Max Mighty said, are you serious?
I'm serious as cancer right now, bro.
So, all right. So, how did we go then from lacing up boots and wrestling gear and walking down a ramp to go off and face off against somebody saying, if you smell, to actually know becoming a touring international DJ? This I have to hear.
I'm trying to remember exactly how that shifted. I do remember one of the first videos I saw that day I wanted to do this. It was, I cannot remember the name of the guy.
Right.
It was a kid. It was a short kid. This was when BT was really hot back in the day. And it was this short, I can't even remember the name of the show. This was before 106. This was before Rap City The Basement. It was like a show on BT. I cannot remember the name for the life of me, but It was just this show, everybody dancing, and they had guest DJs come through, and then they would cut the music videos, come back, and they had this one kid was up there just cutting it. Like, oh, I want to do that. So from that moment on, I was like, Dad, you still got your old stuff? And then I went down to the garage, picked up all his own stuff, and like, you know, those old school belt drive turntables, the one that you got.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'll never forget it. 2 turntables, one of these.
Whoa. What is that?
that is Gemini. One of these with a cassette deck,
right?
A house speaker and an amp. That's how it all started in my basement.
Wow.
That's how it started for me. And a lot of people in St. Martin knows it. Like you said, in some of the other regions, they really don't know my story, which, you know, it's okay.
Right.
But in my story, it was difficult coming up because, you know, not to offend anybody, not a racial way whatsoever.
Yeah.
Coming up in my sense,
right.
It was 10, 20, 30, if not 50 times harder because I was the white boy trying to do this.
Right.
Anywhere I went, I was never taken serious. Where the white boy think he going? What a white boy trying?
Right.
Brother, 1999, I stepped in front of our carnival village, which could hold an easy 10,000 people.
Right.
One of the biggest nights I went up in a DJ competition, I got booed. I had rocks and bottles thrown at me. If I shave the beard right now, you see a scar from one of the rocks at me.
Wow.
So when anybody has ever, when everybody comes to any talk with me talking about, oh, Outkast had it easy, or Outkast, it was give it. No, don't come to that. Don't come to that talk to me, bro.
Is it because, I mean, again, we're telling this story from the side that, again, it's so funny in hearing this story because I'll relate a part of that to you after. Is it because in your island, there were predominantly people who were, I guess, darker skinned individuals who were people that were DJs? And as you rightfully say, you are the one kind of white boy who now wants to come and do this?
Yes. Wow. You didn't see anyone anywhere near my complexion doing it at the time. So at that time, it was like unheard of. It was unseen. It was unrealistic. Like, that ain't gonna happen.
Right.
So I had to work 10 times harder just to earn the respect.
Right.
And it took time. Believe me, it took a lot of hard work. It took dedication, and it just, you know, as much doors as closed in my face, it just took the courage to just keep moving forward and just this is what you want to do. Anytime they ask me to do seminars or workshops or anything like that, and they always ask me to speak to young people, speak to students, I always tell them I live by those words to never give up. Because if I did, I would not be here speaking with you tonight.
Is that also the reason why you have the name DJ Outkast as well too?
Absolutely.
Right.
A lot of people, yes, it had a lot to do with the rap group Outkast because they were very influential with me growing up. Absolutely. Right. Outkast more came up to how I grew up, especially because for some strange reason, I don't know if it was fate knocking on that door, every class I was always put in, can you guess the rest? Yeah. I was just sticking out there like a
white boy. Yeah.
So it was just that much more difficult for me. So I really had to earn that respect and credibility.
Yeah. You know, it's so funny with that. Here, what's so funny about that? 2 things. One, I have a friend who is in New York right now. He actually did some production work for Diddy a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And he was telling me that when he was in New York at the point in time, he used to go into these places where these Chinese guys and these different guys of different descent would come in, and nobody. It really wasn't about the color of your skin, or it wasn't about how you looked, but it was just about playing music. You understand? Yeah. And it's something I think even in the Caribbean, in certain islands, it's only now starting to be accepted in that regard, and that is the truth. Because I know some people who have different ethnic backgrounds, and they have told me that they have had challenges to be accepted, especially in an island where it's predominantly black people, as a DJ. And that is something I think has been prevalent over a couple of years. But more importantly, and this is how, when I was talking to Back to Basic last night, we were talking about making a moment and making a memory. Now, I've heard about you, right? And I totally forgot that you won the Green Synergy competition, right?
Yeah.
And last night or a couple nights ago, when I was going back and looking at the video, I never to this day forgot when you went on stage and say, when I say green, you say synergy, or say when I say things like that, and you dropped the ghetto story, Baby Sham, and the crowd went crazy. And I remember that at that point in time, looking at that, I was like, wait, saying, and this is what I said, wait, that white boy, that's a real fire boy. Yes, son. So I remember that until this day, when I watched that video, it's like, yo, this is the same guy. So it's like, it shows how, even though you would have gone through those challenges, you've been able to develop your career despite such, you know? Go ahead. What was you going to say?
No, it's funny you mentioned that same routine. Again, I was the only white person in that competition, bro.
Correct.
And I used that to my advantage. If you remember, just before in that video, before I dropped the Baby Sham, what was the song I used? I used it to my advantage.
Right.
Play funky music.
White boy. Yeah.
I used that to my advantage.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, at first, it used to really drive me down. It used to be, I would never be accepted in this. But eventually, it made me stronger and made me believe more in what I wanted to do. And eventually, I just started using it to my advantage.
Right. Would you say that the Green Synergy competition was the springboard to your career in a particular way? And so for anybody again who probably does not know, because again, I don't take for granted that people will know what we're talking about all the time. Green Synergy is a competition that's hosted by Heineken.
Yes.
It started like 2004. That's correct, right? I think
that is the year.
Right. So it started 2004. And at that point in time, it was a regional DJ competition where guys would compete from all over. Like Funk Master K from Tobago, who was in the competition.
Enough respect to Funk Master.
Enough respect to Funk Master K. What were some of your influences going into the competition at that point in time? Because again, looking back at some of the videos, some of the DJs really were whack, right? This is just me being honest. But at the same point in time, you could see that you had a particular level of creativity, and I would say international creativity, to what you were doing. What were some of the influences, I guess, at that point in time that gave you the ideas to do the kind of things that you were doing?
I look to guys that we all look to today in this DJ world. You look at guys like Jazzy Jeff. You look to guys like Hubert. You look to guys like Mixmaster Mike. You look to guys. Those are the guys that paved it for us, of course. So, I kind of tried to establish those type of styles in such a way that it could still have a Caribbean groove to it, that everybody could still relate to it.
Right.
And I tried to, because you know Heineken at that time had criteria you had to follow.
Right.
And the criteria, if I remember correctly, it was all about music selection, technique, scratching, mixing, and crowd reaction. Right. So what you really had to do was put together a solid 10 minute routine. Yeah. Criteria. And that criteria, the most points, if I remember correctly, were for crowd response, and I want to say mixing. Right. I want to say mixing. But again, long story short, you just really had to move forward and make it in such a way that people could relate to it, that could still have fun to it, that you're not boring them by making them fold your hands and just watching. You have to be creative. You have to be and the one thing I hate to see is a DJ just standing there. Yeah. And you have to make it entertaining. You have to make them want to move. Right. Have to. And that's, I think that was really some of the key elements to the first year, which was my first ever competition, like major platform competition, like the one I described to you where they threw rocks at me. It was big. It had a huge crowd, but it was still more of like an exhibition type something. Right. And this was a first major platform type competition for me. And it totally changed my life after that.
Yeah, and you placed the run-up for 2 years straight, right? It was 2 years straight.
Okay, 2004, I won my local finals here in St. Martin.
Right, yeah.
Then I went on to Antigua, where I placed second runner-up behind Ice Kid from St. Vincent. Big up to Ice Kid. Right. Shout out to Ice Kid. I was recently in St. Vincent this year, and I linked with him. It was great to catch up with him. He's an OG in this. I have nothing but respect for Ice Kid, and very, very talented DJ. 2005, I defended the title, and I didn't make it that year. I didn't make it that year. I'll be a man and tell you, I didn't make it that year. Mixmaster Paulie was the better one that year. And that is traveled to St. Lucia, and he won it that year.
Right.
2000, no, 2000, that was 2005. My mistake. 2005 is the year Paulie won it, went to St. Lucia and won it. Then in 2006, I came back, won my regional final, and that is what took us to Nassau, Bahamas.
Right.
And that was on a way more stage, because it was on a bigger stage and it was covered by Tempo.
Right.
And at that particular time, Tempo was huge.
It was.
Tempo was huge. So, as much as it did great things for me in 2004, 2006 is when it skyrocketed for me.
Right. Why do you think, you just raised Tempo, which is an entertainment question that I think we can explore a little bit. But I saw somebody comments before asked a question saying something to the extent of if the Green Synergy competition still is active. And funny enough, when I was discussing
I believe it is.
This conversation with Chacha, I didn't even know that the Green Synergy competition was still active. And
yes.
I'm on the ground when it comes down to this, but I didn't know this. Why do you think that competition has not been able to get the kind of traction regionally that one would expect it to get? Because we all know about the Red Bull freestyle. We know about the influence that the Red Bull freestyle had. And obviously, in my conversations with Just Jay, we all understand that Puffy being a winner had kind of opened the doors for us to have a regional competition.
Absolutely.
But at the same point in time, I still do think that there's not a competition amongst the islands, so to speak, from Trinidad, go all the way up to St. Maarten, the Bahamas, Antigua, whatever. There's not been a competition for the islands that has been able to catch that attention and to be able to be as regionally accepted as that. Why do you think the Green Synergy competition hasn't been able to go that far as yet?
Execs got into it. Executives got involved.
Right.
And it was more... at the end of the day, you have to understand, as much as I respect Red Bull, as much as I respect Heineken and these companies, at the end of the day, it's about selling product.
Right.
It's about selling their product. So executives got involved, and it was every year it was criteria change or rule change, or our DJs are not up to the standard of this DJ, and we need to bring down the level so that our DJs can compete, or our DJs can't scratch like this, or our DJs doesn't do tricks like this. Our DJs more are on selector type vibes. Can we do it now this year as a clash style competition? And that is what destroyed it.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that in many ways the DJ competitions play to, I guess as you rightfully say, like what the executives see is popular in the region, as opposed to the pureness of a DJ competition, if you understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah,
so the Red Bull competition is, yes, it's about putting together selections, putting together music, but it also has a particular level of skill involved with it as well, right? But I mean, it's no disrespect to any DJ, but when you look at some of the DJs that came through in the Green Synergy competition, you're like, yo, dog, like, why?
No, some of them you have to really look like, hold on. He won his local?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, how did you get that far? I don't know.
It's just different islands. You go to every island, and some DJs just have different styles and different ways of doing things.
Right.
Which I understand, and I understood that a lot more when I started really traveling more and started seeing how different islands. Like I'll give you a prime example: Curacao, Aruba, Bonaire.
Right.
If you've ever been to any of these islands, they're completely different to any other island you've ever been to in the sense of music and DJing and culture.
Right.
Like if you I love going Curacao because they just let me be myself. They just say we love the way you do things and just do it your way. But when you listen to their DJs, they're very in the box. If you understand what I'm trying to say, like they play their own artists, they play their own style of music, and they don't really play anything outside of their region, which I can respect. Right. I can respect that. But from the time they leave their country now to say they're going somewhere else to play, they are completely lost.
Right.
So it's just a different perspective of different countries as to how they do things. So I get it. I understand it. But at the end of the day, it's so important to get out there and see what other possibilities there are in the sense of music, the different styles, the different genres of music, the way it's put together, the way that the MC or DJ is bring the speech in before the song plays. All of that has a lot to do with it. And depending on where you go in different styles of playing music, you'll get that.
I want to jump to that point in terms of traveling, because last night when I was talking to Back to Basics, he was telling me that this is the first time in his life that he's actually been home for a prolonged period of time, right? Well, the first time in the last 10 years, I would say, because obviously he's developed his fan base in different countries, and he's going to Russia, UK, every state in the US, all the Caribbean, whatnot, right? For those here, especially those that may not know, right? Give them an idea of some of the places that you've been to. And I say that because, again, for individuals who may not understand who some of the DJs that we've spoken to are, you guys have been to countries, as I told Scratchmaster, that sometimes a plane can't even go to. so
that's true.
Give us an idea of some of the places that you've gone to, and probably one place which you were totally surprised that you actually ended up in.
Oh, absolutely. Before I do that, shout out to Scratchmaster, boss, legend.
Correct. Yeah.
There are still a lot of Caribbean islands I have not touched, but I have been blessed to. I have yet to be in Trinidad yet. I still have to make it to Trinidad. I've never been to Trinidad yet. I have touched a good mass variety of the Caribbean, but let's talk otherwise. I've done Miami, I've done Atlanta, New York. I've done Canada. I've been blessed to also travel to Hawaii, Honolulu.
Wow.
Let me think for a second. Yes, Sydney, Australia, Melbourne, Australia.
To play music in Australia.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Off the coast of Australia, New Zealand, and also a little French island by the name of New Caledonia.
Right.
Hong Kong, China, Japan. In Japan was Tokyo, Okinawa, Yokohama.
Wow.
In China, we did Beijing. We did a music festival in Beijing. Hong Kong, I did Chinese New Year's twice in Hong Kong. Shout out to my people. Moving on, I'm trying to just imagine like the world map in front of me right now.
So I'm gonna call 4 places which many people may never have gone to. Have you gone to Russia?
I have yet to. I was very close. Very close to going to Russia, but it fell apart at the last minute, so I did not get to make it to Russia. All
right, and you say you've done Hong Kong already?
Yes.
Have you done Israel?
No, but I have done Dubai. I have done Abu Dhabi. I have been to most parts in Europe: Holland, Belgium, Germany, Paris, London. Did I say Belgium? Poland. Poland completely surprised me.
All right. So now let's put this in context of the Caribbean. And again, it's important that we have this party conversation. It's remiss of me to say, as I should have said this before. If you guys have any questions at all for Outkast, just feel free to type it in the comment section below and quickly click the question mark icon, and we'll get to questions during the course of the night. So if you have any questions you want to ask about anything, you have to do that below and just click the question mark icon. So for Caribbean DJ now, what kind of musical genres are you basically booked to play in some of these places? Because I'm not going to assume that everybody wants to hear Waiting on the Stage and Savannah Grass. So what are generally some of these genres that you are booked to play? But more importantly, as a DJ, how do you keep in touch with music for so many different countries and cultures?
You'd be surprised how far music travels. Like at the end, they never ever tell me don't do this or don't do that. Be yourself.
Right.
Why we brought you here.
Right.
That's exactly what they told me backstage. My first show in Bangkok, Thailand.
Right.
At the end of the day, listen, brother, your name is on that poster. I was going on right after Mims. If you remember Mims, this is why
yes, Mims, yeah.
And they told me just do you.
Right.
At the end of the day, I was like, all right, cool. So I'm backstage. I'm watching Mims perform. I'm seeing what they're reacting to, what they're not reacting to, and I say, okay, this is a commercial crowd. I know what to do.
Right.
And at the end of the day, they might not know a vast majority of the music out of the Caribbean, but they know enough.
Right.
They know enough. So you go there, you just play the commercial joints. And that is something I've learned traveling to these countries. These are not people that wants to hear an underground song or a song that they don't hear about. They're there to party. They're there to dance. They're there to have bottles. They're there to have a great time. So play the joints that they know and play it in such a way that will diverse you from the other DJs that play before you.
Right.
That's how basically I've been winging it. At the end of the day, if I try a record and they don't play and it doesn't work, move on to the next one. Just keep it moving and keep it as energetic as possible, because especially in some of these foreign countries, something that they don't see very often is a DJ that's energetic, that moves, that gets everybody moving, that leaves the DJ booth, that goes to the front of the stage and get people involved like an artist would.
Right.
That's what they want to see. They want to see something entertaining. They want to see something that's out of the box, that's original. Like, any DJ could stand there and just push buttons or whatever, but it's give a show, to give an experience, to give an actual presentation, if you understand what I'm trying to say.
And I tell people, there are two people that have been instrumental for me developing in my DJ career. One of those people is actually Marshall Montano. And it's just because when I used to work at 96.1 here, and we'd go to Marshall Monday, I wouldn't go to party. I would go to taking the show.
Right.
Because there's a way that Marshall comes out. He addresses certain people. He makes particular eye contact. The intonation of his voice, the way he pronounces certain words, and that energy that he brings is something that's infectious for a vast majority of people. So when you sit down, you wonder to yourself how Marshall is able to do this. For me, I've tried to incorporate that kind of stage presence in my performance. And one of the things I think, especially in Trinidad, is a culture that we have here, is that a DJ must have a mic man, right? And one of the things I appreciate about guys like you is that you are a DJ, but you are also an announcer. So for anybody, or especially any young DJ out there right now, who may be behind the decks, but he's afraid to pick up a mic. And in the same way, a guy who has a microphone, but he doesn't know if he can actually hold his own as a DJ. Which one, I'm assuming that DJing came to you first, right? And in regards of that, how were you able to develop now that announcer voice for the stage and that announcer presence?
Microphone skills came way after when I started, way after. It had to be addressed.
Right.
It had to be addressed. Like, again, I started taking in like how a guy like Kid Capri performs.
Right.
Kid Capri would shut the party down without playing one song.
Right.
If you ever seen Kid Capri live, you'll understand that Kid Capri is a master with this in his hand.
Right.
So you have to start establishing that style in such a way that you could still kill it on the decks, but you could also still kill it on the mic, which is not impossible, but it can be difficult if you're new to it. So any young DJ that's listening, I'll tell you exactly how I did it. It might sound idiotic, it might sound retarded, but it's the way I did it. Stand up in front of the mirror with a mic.
Yeah.
Stand up in front of a mirror with a mic.
Yeah.
Pretend there's 50,000 people in front of you.
Yeah.
And just go off. This is how I'm gonna. This is exactly what I'm gonna say when I play this song, or if this type of genre coming in. That this is how I'm gonna do. And exactly like how you said, like watching a guy like Marshall, watching a guy like Kess, or watching a performer, somebody, a guy like Elephant Man, Wyclef, who destroy stages.
Yeah.
You gotta establish that and say, when I come on stage and I come off, I have to be down soaking wet and know that I worked hard.
Yeah. And
those people, even if they did not know who I was, at the end of the night, yo, the white boy went on good though.
Yeah. So I have two things with that. One of which I'll ask you, and the other one which will be quite funny that I know you'll be able to relate to.
Okay.
For any DJs that are here right now, how challenging is it for you to be able to maintain having a particular level of skills in terms of playing scratches, transitions, etc., so on and so forth, and still be able to pick up a microphone and have that stage presence as well? Is that for you? I mean, obviously over a period of time it would have been something that you've been able to develop, but how challenging was that for you to develop, and what pointers that you could give to others to say, here what, it might not be easy to do this in the beginning, but this is what you could do to get comfortable with doing that?
Weekly residencies.
Right.
Weekly residencies is what really did it for me.
Right.
I used to do a spot here in St. Martin. I'm seeing a couple of people from St. Martin in this live.
Right.
And any of one of them could tell you about a spot that I used to play every Wednesday in St. Martin called Bamboo Bernie's.
Okay.
Bamboo Bernie's used to do a Wednesday night every single Wednesday.
Right.
Ladies' night. And I was there every Wednesday, and every week that was my practice ground.
Right.
And I used to experiment different things, experiment saying different things, or how I would say it, or how loud the mic would be over the mute. All of that. That was my experimental phases.
You're training,
learning. Yeah.
Right.
The more you do it in front of a crowd, the more comfortable you get.
Exactly.
The more comfortable you get, the more confidence you get. So I know some people might not hold down a regular weekly residency, but if you ever get that chance to, even if it's not a full house, or if it is a full house, to hell with it. Try it.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
You might flop first time. That's okay. Or you might kill it first time.
Yeah.
But all I'm saying is, if you never try, it will never happen.
I think a lot of people too have problems finding their voice, because and it's so strange. I'm sure you can relate to this. If you listen to some of your first couple of performances while playing on a microphone, you might be like, Doug, what good was?
Oh my Lord.
Yes, son. But no, when you actually listen to yourself and listen back to how your voice has developed and your personality has developed, it's something that develops over time. And I think especially, and I am a total advocate for this, I believe all DJs need to develop their voice in a particular way. Because as I said, in Trinidad, for whatever reason, a DJ must have a mic, man. Very rarely do you see a guy going and play on his own. But yo, I've gone to other countries. I see C4 here, big up C4, Rhythm Master here from Antigua. I've gone to other countries where these guys are playing, but these guys have to pick up a microphone and be able to do both at the same time. And for whatever reason, I think here in Trinidad, that is not a present thing. And I don't know why that is the case. I think that is something that I'll have to look at in the long run. But I do believe that DJs should be able to hold down their own microphone. Because that's how it was a long time. I mean, that's how it was in the beginning.
I have so much admiration, respect for Antigua.
Yeah.
And I'll explain to you why. Shout out to the master and anybody who's in here from Antigua. I have so much respect for Antigua because I learned so much. Because believe this or not, brother, Liat and me was like this at one point, because I was on a Liat flight from St. Martin to Antigua every Friday for a year straight. I held down a residency in Antigua.
Right.
So going to Antigua, you learned certain ways of playing music. You learned about this. You learn how to hold this, because they take this very serious in Antigua.
They do. Yeah.
And music selection, the way that the songs come in, how one song relates to another one, how this one speaks to this one.
Yeah.
Like, I learned so much going to Antigua, the diversity of music going to Antigua. I said this before and I'll say it again. Anybody who could go to Antigua and shell the place is a god. For real, for real.
I would say that as well. And to anybody here in the live, whatever country you're from, I will also endorse that and say that you learn so much and you gain such a greater appreciation for DJing when you go to Antigua. Antigua has some of, I would say, some of the region's most versatile DJs, even though people don't know their names, because it's just a talent. It's like a guy like DJ Quicks. I went to an event and I heard DJ Quicks 2 years ago for the first time, and just the way that Quicks put together music, that blew my mind. Redym Master, who is here in the chat, Redym Master is a guy, very simple guy, but still could put together music in a particular way. DJ Quest, who I've traveled with already. So when you hear these names, Antigua is really a place that is very underestimated when it comes down to DJ scene. That's one. And two,
shout out to Stonewall in Antigua.
Exactly. Right.
Shout out to Poison Dot in Antigua.
Yes.
DJ Nez, DJ Tani, DJ Gravity, DJ No Limit. All of those guys, I learned so much watching and listening to the way they play music and the way they talk in the thing before the song dropped.
Yeah.
I learned, let me tell you something, I learned so much going to Antigua. Shout out to Ibis. I saw somebody put Ibis name. Shout out to Ibis. I have so much respect for the island of Antigua. It is not even a joke.
Yeah.
It is not even a joke.
I want to ask you, which I would consider a very funny question. So let us see if we could create the correlation between this. Now, earlier, before the beginning of the conversation, you said that when you were younger, you wanted to be in the WWE, right?
Yes,
you wanted to be a wrestler.
Yes, sir.
Hear my opinion on this, right? I think that even in something that is wrestling, which people consider fake, there's a particular level of performance art when it comes down to wrestling that people don't understand, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that there's anything in wrestling that you could say connects to you being a DJ? I'll tell you why I asked that question, right?
Absolutely.
So again,
at the end of the day, performer.
Exactly.
That's the only word. A performer. It got nothing to do with being an actor or being an athlete. It's about being a performer.
Exactly.
Because we could talk wrestling. That's a different story for a different day.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
at the end of the day, we've seen talented wrestlers go out with absolutely no personality.
Yeah.
Am I lying?
Yeah.
Absolutely no personality, no mic skills, but they are beasts in the ring. Am I lying?
No, you're not lying. You're not lying.
Is there anything different in DJing?
No, no.
I could name many DJs that are beasts behind the deck,
Yeah.
but have absolutely no stage presence, no mic skills. And that is a huge downfall.
Yeah, yeah.
So at the end of the day, I think the wrestling kind of groomed me to be where I am now.
I tell people this. Again, we could talk about wrestling till whatever, but just to give people an idea, even if you want to become a wrestler, right? Yes, there's a technical side of it. So let me compare wrestling to DJing. And I have to shout out to my producer here, who actually brought back my Stone Cold Steve Austin t-shirt. You understand? We're up in this, man. We're up in this, man. We are up in this. I told you guys. I told you.
Hold on.
I tell you, me and Outkast shut it down tonight.
Let me put him up right here.
Oh my God.
He right here in the studio with me all the time. Big up to Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
All right. But seriously, but on a real though, with wrestling, there's a technical side and then there's a presentation side, right?
Yes.
The technical side is what you do in the ring. And that's what he throws and he flips and he drops on the ground and he whatnot. That's what it is. But there's also a performance side where you have to hold a microphone and you have to go out there and sell yourself. That's the bottom line. And that is exactly similar to DJing. So I put up the Stone Cold Steve Austin t-shirt. But at the same point in time, if you see all these guys come out sometimes, address the crowd, make people hate them, make people like them, speak with a particular level of authority, that is something that is important to the aspect of being a DJ. And that's why I say that I have great respect for guys who can go out and play the music, but they can also pick up a microphone and go out there and command the same respect that they do behind the turntables.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It at the end of the day, what made The Rock so successful? What made him so successful?
The way he handled the microphone.
The way he handled the mic.
Yeah.
Why is he now one of the most highest paid actors in the world?
Correct.
It's because of his persona, of his electricity, of his presence.
Yeah.
You know when that guy walks into the room.
Yeah.
Which is why you have to have that same presence when you walk out on a stage.
Yeah.
Yes, you put in your headphones, you plug in your laptop, you're ready to go, but you also got to know how to demand that crowd to move to you. Yeah. Not just play music and expect them to dance. You got to make them demand it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when you go to a country where you've never been before.
Correct.
And some people know who you are, but 90% of the crowd doesn't know.
Right.
What is it that you're going to do to make those 90% of people remember you? That's going to look for you on social media after to say, I got to follow this dude.
Yeah.
You standing behind a desk just playing music ain't gonna cut it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the up and down straight story of it.
Yeah.
You have to have a presence, a image, a persona that will forever be in those people's minds. That will forever them as a follower.
In addition to that, what do you think, or how much do you think the presence has to do with your personality, as opposed to or in conjunction with your actual image? Because as I had this conversation with Assassin the other day, we have multiple DJs who could look the part, but they already can't DJ, right? But there are guys who you would pass on a general basis and you probably wouldn't be able to see them on the road. But yo, when you hear them play, it's like, yo, where have you been hiding? Where have you been all my life?
Yes.
So, I mean, how important is the balance between the actual physical image and the content of what it is that you're putting out there?
Oh man, you have to have that equal balance, that everything just plays out. Like you can never get the scale to just stay like that. It's a delicate, because take me for instance, I don't drink, I don't smoke.
Right.
How often do you hear that in our line of work?
Well,
Very rare.
I didn't used to drink, and then I went to St. Vincent, and everything just went to hell from there.
I figure that.
Right,
I can understand that.
Right.
So being in this line of work and in the entertainment industry and the nightlife, especially, that could be very, very critical on a person. It's a difficult life to live. That nightlife, coming home those late hours and all that. It's difficult.
Right.
Like we mentioned before, I was a Heineken champion for many years. Never touched their product. You have no idea the amount of heat I got for that.
Yeah.
And I've done many no drugs and no alcohol campaigns in schools, trying to be like a role model in that sense, and I'm very proud of that.
Right.
This year made 25 years I've been in the business. I've never touched either alcohol or any type of drugs, which I'm proud to say.
Wow.
And you would look at me and think that, yeah, I tore it up, or when I'm on stage, like, yo, he got to be on something to be on that type of energy. But no, it's the way you balance it. I would be this very regular, quiet type person when you see me backstage or whatever, and I'm not this energetic running up and down the place. Like, no, that's not me at all. And from time a microphone hits me, or I know I'm about to hit stage, your whole persona changes. So again, you have to have that delicate balance as to, when I'm on stage, this is me. This is Outkast. But when I'm off stage, I'm just Chantry.
Yeah. All right. So we're back with Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock.
And DX.
And yo, this took a turn I did not expect. It really did. I really did. All right. So I want to get to the carnival conversation, because obviously, you just made knowledge to me that St. Maarten has two different carnivals, two different carnivals, right? What are the major differences between those two carnivals? And as a traveling DJ, what other carnivals within the region have you gone to so far?
For our carnivals, I would say that definitely the Dutch side carnival is a bigger scale.
Right.
As we have a bigger venue, they bring in bigger artists to perform and all of that. But the French side carnival still be lit. It still be lit in its own sense. It has their parades and their music, and they still move forward and all of that. And it's crazy knowing that such a small island does have two carnivals, and that's what people do come to experience. Like, knowing that the French side of right there, we're close by to French islands like St. Bart's, Guadeloupe, Martinique, and these islands come to St. Martin to experience that. Then when Dutch side carnival comes around, all those other islands come by, from Antigua to St. Kitts and Nevis to all other islands. So we broaden our horizons, knowing that we have two different carnivals. That way both sides of the island can still benefit from it. So, it's a good thing in that sense.
Right.
Carnivals that I have experienced, to be honest with you, my brother, the only one I could say that I've actually really experienced besides St. Martin, which is a lit carnival, might I add, Dominica.
Yes. See, you've done Dominica Carnival already. Is it something that you do every year?
I've done it last year and this year.
Really? Which band were you with last year?
Okay, I was not there for the actual like on the road bands and all of that. I was there for a different event. For anybody who's on the live from Dominica, shout out. I was there last year for, oh god, what was that event called? It was like the prelude to Juve.
Right. Yes, I know the event you're talking about. Right.
Yeah, it was a prelude to Juve. I think it was all powder or powder fete. It was a powder fete.
Right.
And that was my first time really experiencing it.
Right.
And then this year, I was very grateful to be a part of Carnival Sunrise, which is one of their major events. I think it's like it starts in the evening, goes early into the morning. I was very grateful to be a part of it, along with Farmer Nappy, Asa Banton, Keisha out of St. Lucia. I was very grateful to be a part of that. And to be honest with you, my brother, I have never really been that much of a soca artist or soca DJ in that sense.
Right.
I like, especially like as we spoke about earlier, going to some of the countries that I go to and not really being much of a soca DJ.
Right.
But over the years and working with different artists and different DJs and all that, I've definitely expanded my horizons to that.
Right.
And I'm very grateful for it. And it's something I'm still learning. I'm not 100% the greatest soca DJ in the world. I've never claimed to be that.
Right.
But I'm still, out and to experience different carnivals, to play on the road, which I've done here in St. Martin, but never in another country. And shout out to Private Ryan, and shout out to Barry Hype, who had a lot of faith in me, bringing me into that soca world. Ryan did fly me out to Toronto in 2018.
This is in the soca brainwash in Toronto.
No, this was for Press Play.
Press Play, right.
And I worked with Ryan and Barry here in St. Martin a couple of times, and Ryan saw something in me that I'm very grateful that he took a chance on me and flew me out to Toronto to be a part of his event. And I learned a lot from that little time I spent in Toronto doing one of a private Ryan's events, and see how strong that soca movement is.
Yeah.
And that has really like captivated me and opened my mind to say I need to get more involved in the soca thing, which I've been trying to do more and more. And I think I got the hang of it.
It's funny you raise that point, because I think a lot of times when people hear DJs from the Caribbean, they automatically think that we play soca, dancehall, and hip hop, you know, and that because when you go through the islands, that is primarily what you hear, especially Trinidad and Tobago, Saint Lucia, Grenada,
St. Martin, not St. Martin.
Right. So for all those here who have now known you or know you now as a Caribbean DJ, why is it then? Because there are some that will hold the thought that it's sacrilegious that he's never done a carnival outside St. Martin. But they might not understand the culture of your island and how that has influenced the genres that you play. Could you speak to that a little bit? Yeah. So
St. Martin is such a multicultural place, especially with the amount of tourism that we have coming in. And me being that guy who was always holding down the Wednesday ladies' night residencies in the tourist areas, which a lot of locals started coming to. And at the end of the day, to be honest with you, I'm not trying to put anybody's business out, bro, but this is what I've been told many nights doing those Wednesday nights. I was told, listen, don't touch that soca stuff tonight, bro. We don't want that in here. By management. I was told that. And then I got St. Martin people yelling at me like, yo, where the soca at? Where the dance hall at? I'm like, bro, management say XYZ. There's nothing I could really do about it. But at the end of the day, I try to still incorporate, even if I have to go in the studio and make a remix of it with, like, because at that, some of the residencies I was holding on at the time, they were really big on EDM at the time. Or pop music or anything like that. You can still play hip hop, you can still play dancehall, but the commercial stuff, not like really like the hardcore stuff. So it was difficult to say I could say I'm a multi-format DJ, and then everybody was like, oh boy, here comes Outkast, here comes the house music, here comes the EDM. But that was just because I was doing that Wednesday night every so often, just playing these commercial hits. And that, to be honest with you, is what got me to travel to a lot of these countries. Because people or party promoters and all that would see videos of me in these places, or come visiting the island, because we have people from all over coming to St. Martin on vacation and establishing networks and connections, and then they reach out to management, and that's what got me to travel to such places like Hong Kong and Bangkok and Thailand and these places. And like, to touch on the conversation you had everybody like earlier, it's difficult to, at the end of the day, as a DJ, let's get this real clear and straight from now. If there's any young DJs in here, there's no way you're going to look at me and tell me at the end of the night you pleased everybody. That does not exist. It does. You could try your best. You could maybe please 95% or 99% of the crowd, but there's always going to be that 1% or 5% or 10% that wanted to hear this or wanted to hear that. So all you could do with the best of your ability is to please everyone, but you're never going to do it. Now, in the position I was in, I just saw a DJ from St. Martin coming here. Shout out to DJ Big Boss. He understands where I'm coming from. We are sometimes very limited to being told what we can play from what we cannot play in some of the clubs here in St. Martin up to this day. I'm not talking about some of the residencies I've held down before. I'm talking about now being told, like, listen, you see that stuff from Dominica? We want that in here tonight. You see some of that soca music? We don't want that in here tonight. So we got to try our best to bring a good show to the best of our ability while still being limited. So with that being said, yes, I might have a reputation of not being able to play this and not be able to play that, which is not necessarily true, but that is just some of the misconceptions that have been brought onto me by being limited. Now, I can be myself when I travel to some of these places, but at the end of the day, especially if you go to a country you've never been to before, you really have to go out there and I'm a guy that likes to get to a venue early.
Right.
Let me hear what they're playing before. Let me see what they're responding to, what they're not. Start asking around. Do they play hip hop joints over here? No, they don't really play hip hop. All right, cool. What do they really vibe out to? Research, development, to see how you're going to better yourself to be on stage, to be that guy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So all I can really say is being from St. Maarten has its ups and downs, pros and cons like everywhere else. But sometimes it could be very limited. I don't know if you all have that problem over there in Trinidad that club owners tell you what to play.
No, I don't think we have that problem. But what I do think is this. I want to be very careful in any words I choose when I say this, because I'm always very mindful of the thought process that, you know, a lot of younger DJs feel that some of the more mature, seasoned DJs fighting on what they're doing. And that's not it, right?
Absolutely not. No.
I do believe that in Trinidad and Tobago, as much as we have an appreciation for music, it is limited to the commercial hits that you hear all the time. And then not just that, but when we have a phase that happens in the country, everybody runs to the phase. So I don't know if it is that you're aware of it, but I'm not sure if you know of Zest Dancehall. Have you ever heard of Zest Dancehall?
I've heard briefly of it.
Right, good. So for anybody not from Trinidad, it's probably St. Maarten, and you have no idea what we're talking about, Zest Dancehall is essentially dancehall like what you'd get from Jamaica, which would be your girls dancehall or your badman dancehall, but it's Trinbagonian artists singing it, right? And Trinbagonian producers making it. And the thing about Trinidad is that now that Zest is a cultural movement in the country, I find that a lot of younger DJs especially just want to play Zest alone. And for me, that's why it's important to have conversations with guys like you who have now traveled to countries, as I said, that probably a plane can't land, right? And you get into places that now incorporates many genres of music. So when you see a DJ Outkast going and playing in Hong Kong, or you see a DJ Puffy going to play in Russia, or you see somebody going to play in some other country, and you're wondering, wow, like how those guys are getting to do this. You have to take yourself out of the comfort zone that you're in and broaden your horizons in terms of music and understanding the cultures that you're going through. And that is one of the most important reasons for these group theory one-on-one lives, because everybody has a different experience. And we want to be able to expose people who probably have never heard of you here to understand what is your thought process to how you look at music and how you attack entertainment.
I will give you a perfect example, my brother. There is a music festival in Aruba. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, called Soul Beach.
Right.
Which is organized by Sinbad and his family. The radio station which I work for here in in St. Maarten, which is Laser 101, they have a very good relationship with the organizers. They fly them out every year to cover it. So we go with all of the radio broadcasting equipment. We broadcast live from the beach. We be, hyping it up, and we have a great relationship with the organizations of Soul Beach. One year, my very good friend and colleague G Money, shout out to G Money wherever he's at right now, came to me and said, listen, I want to bring you to Soul Beach. I want to get you on. I was like, I've heard of Soul Beach. I have no idea what I'm going up there to go do. But he said, no, I know you could do this. And he saw it in me, and he believed in me enough to say, we're going to do this. And he went to his people. It's like, all right, if he's coming with Laser, bring him along, and we'll definitely get him on.
Right.
Now, when I tell you this is a completely different experience. Every time I go, I really have to set my mind to, okay, forget Caribbean right now.
Right.
Forget St. Maarten, forget all of that. Because where I'm going right now, even though it's a Caribbean island, they fly in at least 5,000 people from places like Maryland, from Baltimore, from Atlanta to New York, New Jersey, from all over the United States.
Right.
And not our age bracket either.
Right.
I'm talking 40s and up, 60s and up.
Right.
Older crowd.
Yeah.
Completely different perspective, my brother.
Right.
I had to learn this going in. And going there for that time, it's an every year thing. They start from Wednesday, go straight to Sunday, and every day is a different beach party. It's a different event. It's a different concert. Even based on some of the artists they bring,
right,
from Frankie Beverly and Mays to Charlie Wilson to some of the old school names you don't hear about anymore, bro.
Correct.
But these guys are going down there and selling out because of the type of crowd that is there. Now, the reason I bring this up is that every time I go there, I really have to have a completely different mindset in play.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going over there to go play Beanie Man Bounty Killer. That's not gonna make it.
Yeah.
You more got to be starting looking at Eric B and Rakim.
Right.
You more got to start looking at SWV.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
Shanice and those type of artists you're playing, bro.
Yeah.
Like old school throwbacks.
Yeah.
And I learned so much going to Soul Beach, and I am proud and privileged to set and tell you that I went that one time to go and play, and this was a major after party fight. Who was performing that year? Oh damn, wasn't R. Kelly? No, it was. Who was it that year? Oh my lord, I can't even remember who. I think it was Usher. No, it was Usher. Huge, forget it. Huge artist was just finished.
Right.
And I am playing the after party. I am the main DJ for the after party. Mind you, Questlove played the night before.
Yeah.
So pressure's on me being this new kid that nobody in here ever heard of. So I really had to analyze, like, I've been listening to the DJs playing. I said, I know how I can infiltrate this. I know how I can mix my style with their style. And I'm proud to tell you, my brother, for the past 5 going on 6 years, they have continuously brought me back and have me a part of the festival.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm proud to tell you that.
Yeah.
I've opened for Robin Thicke on that stage. I've opened for Trey Songz on that stage. I've opened for Charlie Wilson to Mary J. Blige. I've also DJ'd with Kid Capri to Jazzy Jeff, to DJ Envy, to names that you only hear about.
And that's so funny you say that, because again, these are global brands that you only hear about by seeing BET or VH1 or on Instagram, or you see them in some hip-hop artist music video or whatever. What?
Correct.
But you have played alongside these guys, and you have been able to entertain people. That is what I said in the beginning of the conversation. I think one of the major things that your input is great for here is that you have an understanding between playing local and playing international.
Correct.
And the preparation it takes to put yourself out of, I would say for Trinidad, to put yourself out of playing Zest, and understanding that the crowd that you're going for, as much as you might be able to do what they brought you to do, you also have to understand where you are going and the research that it takes to go into that type of place.
And you know the crazy part about it is, as much as that's a grown and sexy crowd I've dealt with in Aruba, I'm going to touch on Aruba one more time. As much as it's a grown and sexy crowd that is not 100% familiar with Caribbean culture, I still find a way to play it.
Right.
Still have to find a way that, listen, I know you guys are from the DMV, I know you guys from Atlanta, from whatever part of the United States is, but right now you're in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
You're not leaving here without getting some sort of Caribbean in you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Every year they have me play the comedy show, which is one of the nights for Soul Beach, going into the weekend on the Friday. They have headline. Last year they had Marlon Wayans. The year before that was DL Hughley and Cedric the Entertainer, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
And it always put me on that stage to get that crowd hype before these entertainers come on.
Yeah.
The year Family broke. The year Family bust huge.
Yeah.
Year Mr. Killer pick up something bust huge.
Yeah.
I had 40, 50, 60-year-old Americans through this place with chairs over their heads, bro.
Right.
And I'm very, very proud to say that I brought Caribbean culture and Caribbean influence to these Americans that had no idea of this.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
And I'm very proud to say that.
I want to touch on something quickly. Let me see if I can bridge these two questions together.
Sure.
As I said before at the beginning, you're part of Shadyville Caribbean.
Yes.
So for anybody that doesn't know what Shadyville Caribbean is and how important Shadyville Caribbean is, and again, I look at this as not just a conversation of the introduction of yourself to people that may not know you, but I also look at this as a motivational conversation for individuals who may want to understand where this craft of being able to play music can take them. How important, how did that Shadyville Caribbean network start, and what exactly is it for anybody that doesn't know?
All right. So for people who do not know what Shadyville is, Shadyville DJ, Shadyville Caribbean is a DJ fraternity started by DJ Outkast. Who does not know? People who do not know Outkast, that is the original touring DJ for 50 Cent.
Right.
And Outkast came up with the concept of putting together a group of DJs and just started to make a movement with it.
Right.
And it started, of course, American-based. And then as they started adding members, shout out to him. I'm not sure if he's in here, but shout out to DJ Genie. DJ Genie was one of the fundamental players of the first formation of Shadyville when it came together. And at that time, I was holding down a Wednesday residency at a club here in St. Martin called Bliss.
Right.
And I think Who Kid came in to play a yacht party off the coast of St. Martin. There's an island called St. Bart's where all of the celebrities go.
Right.
Excuse me. All the celebrities go out there, and he was brought in to play a celebrity yacht party. And he had to overnight in St. Martin, and he wanted to play. So I'll never forget it. I got the call at home and said, listen, DJ Who Kid is on the island. We know tonight is your night. Would you be willing to, drop your night to let Who Kid play?
Yeah.
Like, hell yeah, give it to him. I mean, it's going to cost me, but at the end of the day, it's Who Kid. I would like to personally make that link with him. Right. And you never know where it's going to go from there.
Yeah.
So I remember going to the club, and they brought him to me that this is Outkast, the Who Kid, and he embraced me. He was like, bro, they told me what you did. You didn't have to do that. So it's all good, man. It's, welcome to St. Martin. Yeah. That island hospitality. So he did his thing. I was there, and we kicked it off, and that was it. I figured he'd go back on his plane, and he's never going to remember this little white kid from St. Martin. Right. Not 2 years later, DJ Genie calls me and said, listen, we're putting together Shadyville Caribbean, which is a Caribbean branch of the Shadyville DJs fraternity, which is affiliated with Interscope Records, Slim Shady Entertainment, G Unit, and all that. And your name was at the top of the list. Wow. I was like, for real? It's like, yeah, you have. So we want to do this, and Who Kid said he remembered you from St. Martin, and he wanted to put that, which is what brings me to another. You never know what a good deed would bring to you in the future. And you never know how important a good first impression and being humble about what you do could do to help your career somewhere down in the long run. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, not every good thing you do will be something prosperous, because at the end of the day, you have to take a chance, and at the end of the day, you have to live with yourself and say, I did the right thing. Right. So they reached out to me and said, we're forming this Shadyville Caribbean thing, and we want you on the forefront. And I won't lie to you, it did wonders for my career. Yeah, it did absolute wonders for my career. The establishment that I made, it definitely opened up different doors to me. It definitely opened up more bookings for me, and the relationship I have with certain artists today, through that, it has done wonders for me, and I'm forever grateful to Who Kid and Genie for having me on that platform. And I'm still with them to this day. I still rep the team hard as possible, even though the team may not be as strong as it was when it first started. Right. I am still very grateful for what they've done for me in my career, and I will forever rep the team. Yeah, I get that. All right. Just to let everybody know, if you have any questions, you can put it down in the comment section here. Click the question mark icon. I'm going to get to those questions in 5 minutes. Shout out to Karen. Shout out to DJ Karen. DJ Karen. And for anybody that doesn't know, like, I will say this, DJ Karen has been one of those DJs in Trinidad and Tobago that has flown under the radar, but is still such a great technically sound guy and a skillful DJ, and somebody who's been... Karen was on that list with me when we started this thing with Shadyville. Karen was on that list with me, and a lot of people don't know that. Well, look at Karen, myself, and I think it was 4 others. 5 of us was the founding members of Shadyville Caribbean. Right. Myself, Karen, ZJ Electra in Jamaica, God rest his soul, DJ Fat Fingers in Anguilla. Right. Genie, of course, and I want to say, DJ Bertram in Tortola. I also saw DJ Wiz in here. Shout out to my people in the BVI. Right. Talk to me quickly about the Red Bull freestyle competition. I know you did a submission video. Yeah. Always remember that conversation I had with Just Jay when he came here before he went to Russia, I believe it was, for the competition. And he said that he had to give up gigs for about 2 months to come up with a Red Bull freestyle routine that he felt would have been good enough for the competition. Now, everybody's mental process is different. If there's one thing I've learned about Just Jay, he is maniacal when it comes down to what he wants to accomplish. For you, how challenging was it to be able to develop a Red Bull freestyle routine, given all the other factors of entertainment that you're involved in right now? And would it be is it something that you are seeing on the horizon to do again in the near future? Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely, 100%. I was still new to the concept of Red Bull when I made that first submission, and you know, I think everything happens for a reason, and I have nothing but respect for guys like Puffy and Just Jay and Quest and these guys who've moved forward in this and putting the Caribbean region on the map when it comes to DJ and technicality.
Right.
With that year, when that routine was made, was the year that Hurricane Irma destroyed us.
Right.
And this very studio that I'm sitting here right now was completely underwater, brother.
Wow.
And that was the year when it all happened and all of that. And, you know, even though I was not selected, I still made good contact and good feet in with the people at Red Bull. I remember they reached out to me and told me, listen, yeah, keep doing what you're doing. You never know where you might get selected.
Right.
For that, I'm forever grateful. I've yet to put in a new submissions because, believe it or not, we're still kind of like picking up the pieces after Irma, because DJ Equipment Lies. I remember Chacha reached out to me. Shout out to Chacha. Chacha was one of the very first people to reach out to me. He's like, bro, you good? Did you lose your equipment? Like, yeah, I did. I was like, what can we do? What can we do to help? And for that, I'll forever remember Groove Theory and what you guys did at the beginning of that. And for that whatever Groove Theory asked me, I'll do it, because you guys were one of the first to reach out.
Right.
And bro, I recently bought this.
Right.
Like recently, like if you see over in the corner there, I have a TTM 57 SL Rain, which was the mix I had for years, and it got wiped out from the hurricane. It doesn't even come on anymore, but I keep it because it's signed by Qbert.
Wow. Right.
So I keep that as a legacy piece, you know? So to say that I had time to actually put on I put together a routine to say I want to submit, I didn't really have the time and the resources at the time to put it together. But if it's on the horizon, absolutely.
Yeah.
My goal is to touch that stage.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I commend guys like Puffy and Just Jay for opening the doors for us here in the Caribbean region to be recognized as, hey, those guys from the islands, don't play with them.
Yeah.
Don't play with them. Like they're a force to be reckoned with. And they forced now Red Bull to say, listen, these guys cannot be considered wildcard entries anymore, that we need to give them their own, you know, region.
So in that regard, what do you think it will take to have a DJ competition on that type of level within the Caribbean? What do you think it's, because yes, there's the Red Bull freestyle competition, which basically there's the Caribbean leg, but the Caribbean leg also has some of Latin America in it as well. So you know how challenging that could be by the numbers. But again, we're talking about Green Synergy. For me personally, I want to say shout out to DJ Lady Drea. So big up Lady Drea as well. Shout
out to Lady Drea. That girl killed it on the online.
Yeah.
She murdered it. Shout out to Drea.
Yeah. So what do you think it's gonna take to have a DJ competition on that type of level within the Caribbean? Because again, when you compare Green Synergy, and I'm very sorry, watching some of those old videos from Green Synergy, you see that guy sitting down on top of a platform trying to scratch two turntables with his feet, and it's not really happening, and people in the crowd stop like, what is he trying to do? And then you come now and mixing in skill, and I will actually give it to you like this. I honestly think that performance I mentioned earlier, when you played that Baby Sham in that crowd, that's the closest thing actually to like a Red Bull freestyle performance you get in Green Synergy now, because and not just that, but also comparing it with like Funk Master K and the other guys, right? In terms of having the skills and the talents, but also at the same point in time playing music to entertain people, right? Yeah. What do you think it's gonna take really to have that level of competition in the Caribbean? Is it gonna be something that's financial? What is it really gonna
No, that's easy, brother. We just gotta keep doing exactly what we're doing now.
Right.
Which is showing these people that, listen, we cannot overlook this Caribbean people anymore.
Yeah.
We're going to put them in such a position that they have to, if not host one of those Red Bull finals in the Caribbean, or to create something for another company to come in and say, we need to do something else, but have it Caribbean based.
Right.
What we're doing right now is showing these countries and showing the world that the Caribbean has to be taken serious by all means necessary, because these guys will not quit. They will not stop. Yeah. That is what we're doing right now, is the exact perfect game plan.
Yeah.
They have to keep showing that no matter what stipulations you put in place or favoritism to bigger countries you put in place, that either which way the islands are going to show that we're going to step forward. We're going to make you realize that we are a force to be reckoned with, and they eventually have to do it.
Right.
We don't have to go to nobody and tell them that this is what needs to be done or come with a proposal. No, we need to force them to say they have to go in their corporate boardroom or wherever and say, listen, we have to do this.
Wait,
the numbers make sense.
I just say that's a good segue into the question I want to ask you. Because over the weekend, obviously, a lot of us who have been tuned into the versus battle that took place with Beanie Man and Bounty Killer. And everybody has spoken about how that has opened so much doors. I personally believe that as much as I said it was the Caribbean one, even though the Caribbean won, Jamaica was really the winners. And I have no problems with that because they've earned that. They've earned that by being able to put out the content and having artists of that magnitude to be able to capture that attention over a particular period of time. As I tell people, as much as we as a Caribbean collective understand the culture that we have here, to some extent, to have something hosted on that international level, it boils down to dollars and cents. And if anybody inside here is having illusions of grandeur, as they say, the bottom line is that I honestly believe that they would not have had Beanie Man and Bounty Killer if they did not feel that these guys were going to draw numbers for the culture. You understand? Because numbers for the culture means money coming into the pocket. And it means that Ciroc, when Ciroc was there, Ciroc is like, yo, we have all these people now seeing our brand, and that's why we could give Timberland them more money. So this is the question I want to put to you. Do you think soca, in its current state right now, has that buy-in power where it is that international companies would be willing to do the same thing for like a Marshall Montano and a Bungie Gun or whatever, whatnot, to have a versus battle like that for soca? And that's been a debatable question because, again, if you go on Twitter, Facebook, anywhere, everybody's like, yeah, like, when the soca versus come in, yeah, we have the soca versus now. But as I was telling somebody earlier, I'm not making this argument to say that it should not happen, but I'm wondering if it is that we've reached that level where it should be, where it can be happening on that level.
I agree with what you're saying. Absolutely. You have to question it. You do have to question it to say if it can happen, yes or no. I personally think, yes, it can. I do think it could pull, like, listen, at the end of the day, instead of, I'll ask you a question now. Doesn't Uber Soca sell out every year?
That's a very good point. You're very right. And they
doesn't Trinidad be full out? Not a hotel, not a Uber in sight, not a car rental of it. Doesn't Trinidad be sell out every year for Carnival?
You're right.
At the end of the day, like you said, it comes down to numbers.
Yeah.
Comes down to numbers. And if you look at the numbers and the numbers make sense, then yes, it can be done. As long as you put the right artists in place for it.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, a lot of people were saying it's not a win for the Caribbean, it's a win for Jamaica. I disagree.
Okay.
I disagree. At the end of the day, it's West Indian culture.
Correct.
Whether it be whatever island it come from. I don't care what. It could come from Anguilla, it could come from St. Marco, from Trinidad, Jamaica. It's in the Caribbean.
Right.
It's a win for us. Damn right it's a win for us.
Yeah.
It's a win for us because at the end of the day, yes, they say it's a win for Jamaica. You go to Trinidad, they don't play Jamaican music.
Yeah, they play Jamaican music.
You go to St. Kitts, they don't play Jamaican music.
Yeah.
You come St. Mark, you're damn well sure they're playing Jamaican music. So at the end of the day, it's ours.
Yeah. And ironically enough, if you go to Jamaica now, a lot of people have been telling me soca is on the rise in Jamaica. Yes, sir. And
Jamaica's carnival is where it's at right now, from what I've been told.
And I also think that by the eyes of the international audience looking at the Caribbean now through what has happened with dancehall and reggae, because they still don't call it dancehall internationally, they call it reggae. If you go on iTunes,
reggae, yes.
If you go on iTunes, the biggest dancehall tune is considered reggae. We will call it dancehall because we know, right? But now that the eyes have been focused on the Caribbean for that reason, people are now wondering, hey, what else in the Caribbean is there? And soca does have that power, not just as an art form which has the energy to it. But if you really think about it, yes, there are different people in the Caribbean singing dancehall and reggae, but predominantly Jamaica is the leading island when it comes down to that genre.
Absolutely.
But if you think about it, everywhere in the Caribbean, somebody's singing soca in some different form or fashion. So soca, to some extent, is a little bit more representative of the entire Caribbean. Because I'm sure there's a St. Maarten artist who is big up there There is Marshall Montano from here, Bungie Garden, Showing Winchester from Tobago, Skinny Fabulous from St. Vincent, and the list goes on and on and on. So every single island has that soca representation, which would be now more bigger argument of why we should have something like a versus battle happening. And that's why I think, as you rightfully said before, it's important now for us as individuals, creatives in this circle, to actually now force these people to understand the value of what we do.
It's going to take a collective effort.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take everybody's input to make people realize that, yes, reggae and dancehall is a Caribbean entity, but we also have this.
Yeah.
Because it is sad to this day, and I still don't understand how this is not possible, that you go on a Spotify, you go on an Apple Music, and soca is still not a category.
Yeah.
How is this possible?
Correct. Correct.
How is this like, with all of the push that Marshall be pushing when his albums drop on Apple Music and the numbers that they be pushing, how is this still considered world?
Yeah, correct. And even with that, shout out to Private Ryan, because Private Ryan mentioned a couple of weeks ago that his podcast is like #3 in the entire of the United States. His music podcast. So how can you have a guy, and yes, Ryan makes different mixes, so we all understand that. But everybody knows that Ryan is predominantly known for soca brainwash, right? So how can you have this mix that is comparable to saying the Bible of soca for the year going to the different countries, and soca still is not considered a genre under these companies?
Because it's going to take a collective effort to make these companies realize. It takes the right people to go in there and show them. All it takes is really to influence the right people to go, because all it takes is a phone call, or all it takes is a board meeting to say, listen, this needs to be added. Like, take St. Martin, for instance. Right now, St. Martin is under the transition of being known as a country. When you go to a website and you click PayPal and you scroll down, Trinidad and Tobago is an option, Antigua's an option, Anguilla's an option. St. Martin's still not an option yet.
Right.
Even though we're considered an island, it's going to take time. It's going to take the right people to go out there and make that change happen. Because influence is a huge push forward. It's the right people. And I'm surprised guys like Marshall and Bungie and all of these very influential people of soca today have not had meetings with Apple Music or these other big distributing and publishing companies to say, why hasn't this still been done yet?
Yeah, I get that. I totally get that. All right, I want to get to some of the questions. Just to remind you guys, you can type your questions below. Click the question mark icon. If you don't want to be identified, you can follow me on Instagram at Shomari KRL and DM me your questions, and I'll make sure to ask it to Outkast. So I'm going to get to this first one here, which is, what is a moment you had on stage with a particular artist that you were really honored by?
Oh, wow. There's a couple, actually. Soul Beach, I opened for one of the original kings of comedy, D.L. Hughley, and he acknowledged me after I performed and they introduced him. He came on stage, and D.L. Hughley said, where'd y'all find this dude? Where'd y'all find this guy? Like, where's he from? St. Martin? How'd you get here, on a boat? Like he was completely, and the first thing he said was like, first of all, give it up for Drake's brother.
Hey.
And that to me was coming from the D.L. Hughley, original king of comedy, that meant a lot to me.
Right.
Being a tour DJ for Rupee, for TOK, also for Red Rat and Mr. Killer, which I'm very grateful for, and they have acknowledged me on stage. That these people, you have to realize, this guy's from St. Martin. He's this DJ. He's incredible on stage. And knowing some of these artists when they've come to another funny, Drake. We mentioned Drake. Drake came to St. Martin to shoot a video clip. It was for the song he had with Future and, oh God, what's the other guy's name? Drunk and, yeah, the song was called Drunk and
Disorderly. Is it that?
Yeah, drunk and something. But
right,
they came to St. Martin to shoot the clip. And I've been to Toronto a couple of times before, and I'm very good friends with Future's DJ, Future the Prince. And when they got to St. Martin, Future wasn't with them, but they reached out to a taxi driver, said, we need to reach out to this guy. What's his name? Outkast.
Wow.
and to be acknowledged by a guy like Drake is astonishing to me.
Yo.
To know that I'm from a little 37 square mile island in the Caribbean, some island that's not even sometimes recognized.
Yeah.
To be called out like that is monumental for me, and forever that I've always kept a relationship with Drake's camp, and it has always been blown away from me. Another instant was when I did a show in Anguilla, and I had this was Boxing Day. This was day after Christmas. I went to do a show in Anguilla, and I was told there's a bunch of celebrities in Anguilla. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, cool. So I went to go do this party. My head is down, and two of my boys were with me. They're on the right side, just like this, how I'm looking at you. And I got my head down, plugging up my stuff, and I feel somebody tapping my shoulder. Now, you know, when we DJs are working, we don't like to be bothered. I'm like, put my hand up, just give me a minute. I have to hook up. I'm on next. The guy's telling me the song's almost done. I'm plugging. I look over at my boys, and both of them like this.
Right.
I'm like, okay, who's above me right now?
Right.
I put my head up. Ludacris is staring at me.
Oh.
Ludacris said, "Are you Outkast?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Bro, I've only heard." I was like, "I've only been hearing about you since I got here, and I wanted to meet you. I also have somebody else that wants to meet you." I'm like, "Who the hell are you here with?"
Right.
He brings me upstairs to the shout out to Diction, who's the promoter for that party, and he never told me that these guys were here.
Right.
And he brings me up, Ludacris brings me upstairs and said, "Yo, look who I found, Kev." I'm like, "Which Kev?"
As in Kev?
Kevin Hart.
Wow.
It's like, "Oh, that's Outkast? Yo, what up, bro? I've been hearing about you. I've been listening to you on the radio while we out there." I'm like, "Are you for real?" Like, I honestly, God, thought I had to blink twice to really see if this was real.
Yeah.
These guys acknowledged me. I had no idea these people knew who the hell I was.
Yeah.
And they stayed. They was behind me in the DJ booth for the entire time I was on.
Yeah.
So to be acknowledged by guys that big in the music industry is forever humbling.
Yeah.
It really, like, sometimes, I don't know if you yourself or any other DJ in here sometimes feel like you're not appreciated for what you do in this business.
Yep.
We all go through that sometimes. Like, damn, man, you work so hard. Are you really appreciated, or are you really looked at as an entity from your island, the way you represent your country, all that? Moments like that is what really look like, damn, all this time, all these years you've been putting into it really starting to like show credibility now. And for that, I am forever truly humbled and grateful for that.
That's actually one of the reasons why we decided to do the psychology of nightlife tomorrow, because I always remember sitting down when we had the discussion with Just Jay, and Just Jay was saying that he's never been a big DJ in Barbados. And even myself, coming here from Trinidad and Tobago, I have not had the kind of traction here that I've had in some other islands. So I've gone to like St. Lucia, and shout out to Fusion Mass, because I'm a member of Fusion Mass's team. I remember Fusion Mass saying after I left the band that I was with before, like, yo, we were saying for months that we need to have Redymix as part of the band. And for me, as you rightfully said, feeling many times that all the work that you're putting in and you're not being appreciated, especially in a circle, when you go out there and people are talking about you. And I have to also say, because we're here, shout out to Lady Dre as well. Because when I was in New York last year, Dre was like, "Shomari, once you are here, I want to put you on my event." And I was like, one of the first events I did in New York, and I did it with DJ Straggler from Antigua. And she was like, "When I brought you here, I knew the connection that you'd have with the crowd. I knew that you'd be able to play with Straggler as a young DJ and help him on. And I knew that you'd be able to build my party in a certain way." And I was forever grateful for that, because again, you would never really understand sometimes the recognition people give you, and it validates all the hard work that you put in. So that is something that's very, very important, as you said.
I look at it like this, brother. Our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ was not appreciated in Jerusalem. Who's us?
Yeah. For real.
Who's us?
For real.
Really and truly, who's us? You really have to go out there to be appreciated.
Yeah.
Like, you have to go to another country and sometimes be appreciated for your own country to appreciate you.
Yeah. I understand that.
That's the way it is. Like, funny you mentioned New York. My first time ever playing in New York City was when I went for 106 in Park.
Right.
I did 106 first and then the clubs after.
Right.
And coming off of 106, everybody's like, "Yo, it's the white guy from 106. just saw him on TV last night."
Yeah.
We just saw him on TV last night. And me not ever being in a club in New York, I had no idea what I was walking into.
Right.
But they welcomed me with open arms, and I'm very grateful for the type of love I received in New York. And up to the other day when I was at Soul Beach, somebody came up to me and said, I was in the crowd when you was at 106.
Yeah, yeah.
How the hell you remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm very grateful for that, man.
I just got a question here at my Instagram, which again is Shomari KRL, in case anybody wants to send me a personal question. They were saying that the person is essentially saying he's been doing lives for the last couple of weeks and he's not getting much traction in his live, right? And he says that he's been tuning into some of the other DJs that he knows or sees around and realize that they get a lot of traction as well with their lives, right? So basically, individuals is wondering, should he continue doing these Instagram or social media lives when he's getting, as he said here, sometimes less than 20 people, but when he looks at like some of the other big DJs, they're getting like 200-300, because it kind of affects his motivation in playing. And
I get that.
I've realized you've done a couple of lives, so I tune in and out. But I guess he really wants to know, understand, should he be continuing doing lives, not getting the kind of traction that he wants to get, and again looking at other DJs and seeing that they are getting the numbers that he wishes that he could get?
Absolutely. It could be 2 people in the live, bro. You never know who's watching.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, as long as you put your best foot forward and give it everything that you got, even if it's 2 people watching, brother, you never know who is watching and listening to you.
And on that note, big up Club Quarantine, right? That's the live, so big up Club. Yes, big up Club Quarantine, right? Yeah, good.
Yeah, shout out to Club Quarantine. Thank you. I'll be honest with you, like, my Facebook live numbers are way better than my Instagram numbers.
Right.
For what reason? I don't know. I believe Caribbean people more like the melee of Facebook.
I think so as well too.
Over Instagram. Like, Instagram is more like the big numbers, like you see from a D Nice or a Little John doing a live on Instagram. You see those big numbers that they accomplish.
Yeah.
Instagram is more of an American thing.
Correct.
Facebook is the melee capital of the world in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
So everybody's on Facebook.
Yeah.
So your numbers are always going to be bigger on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yes, I've struggled with the live numbers on Instagram as well. Nobody could ever tell me that they haven't. But at the end of the day, it could be 2 people, it could be 5 people, it could be 10 people. You never know who is watching or listening to you.
And I want to take this comment here from DJ Sir, who said, stop worrying about who is on the live there and save it, post it, people will view it on their own time. And you know what was a nice little secret which I started to pick up, because I as well to understand the question that the individual asked.
Yeah.
And I started to treat it as, if I go and decide to do a live, because I don't do much lives, but when I decide to do a live, I actually try to treat it now like I am the first DJ in the party, right?
Yeah.
So if there's that 25 people come on and they're in and out, because the other night, there was some night I did a live and had like 100 people, I was in shock. And then there was another day I did a live and it had like 10 people. But I just treated like I'm the first DJ in the party. And mind you, if you treat it that way, sometimes you actually play better because you're setting a particular tone, as opposed to feeling that you have to copy what everybody else is doing. So you're seeing Outkast doing his live, he has his mic, he has his turntables, whatever, playing certain tunes, like, wow, I should go and play that. And then they go and look at Private Ryan and say, Private Ryan is playing this, oh, I should do this. And then as in Trinidad, you're seeing a guy playing Zest music, which we call now in the country legs and pegs, right? So you see somebody doing a legs and pegs line, and you're like, yo, I need to go and do a legs and pegs. No, just do you. Just do you, man. You know, just do you. As I said, if it is that there are 10 people on the live, treat the 10 people like you're the first person in the party.
Yeah. Shout out to DJ Ciro. He's from St. Maarten. And also shout out to DJ Hurricane, both DJs from St. Maarten. And they do nothing but push the music and culture forward. And I have nothing but respect for those guys. And shout out to them one time. Thank you guys for being on the live. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I want to get into this question quickly, because we're at 10:23 and I want to try to wrap up by 10:30.
Sure.
Unfortunately, with St. Maarten, you all have had a lot of challenges, especially as you said with the hurricane that happened before, and then obviously coronavirus has taken place now. Yeah. So these are like 2 huge hits, not just economically, but psychologically to people.
Yes.
For anybody out there right now who looks at this as a very challenging time, especially DJs or creatives, and they're wondering now, how they can approach this point in time to be able to motivate themselves to see what's on the flip side, because neither you nor I know what's going to be the outcome of this. I've stopped saying post COVID-19, and I've started saying active COVID-19, because this is going to be something that's going to be with us for a very long period of time.
Absolutely.
Right. Is there anything that you could say that keeps you motivated at this time, especially somebody, as I said, who was going through a catastrophe just a couple of years ago, lost all their equipment, had to rebuild himself? You rebuild yourself, you're a traveling guy, now the coronavirus hits and you can't even jump on a plane to go anywhere. Like, how do you mentally attack that at this point in time?
It takes a lot of mental stability, because you have to remember at the end of the day, you really have to keep it together and keep a professional state of mind going forward, and a positive thing. It is really to say that at the end of the day, look, this is going to change our lives forever. Maybe nightlife may be affected for quite some time, because I even had a discussion with some of the DJs here in St. Martin. Like, look, at the end of the day, when they do open back up clubs, we have to remember, will people even have the confidence to go out?
Yeah.
If they do, it's not going to be the same. Everybody's going to be holding a corner with face masks on. You don't even know who you're playing for half of the time. And the crowded nightclubs where everybody's in there jamming, having fun in a fete, that might not be a reality for quite some time. So we really have to mentally prepare ourselves for that, to say, at the end of the day, we just have to go out there and do our jobs to the best of our ability and hope that people follow us.
Yeah.
They're going to reopen nightlife here in St. Martin on June 15th.
Right.
And I'm trying to figure out what is the best way to move forward, hoping that some people are I'm hoping on people's, frustration of not being able to go out to say, look, as soon as place pop off, I need to get out of the house.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that, but that's just going to only be for a certain amount of time. People are still going to be cautious. They're going to still be practicing social distancing, and they're still going to be in a state of mind like, listen, I don't want nobody brushing up on me. I'm not trying to get sick.
Yeah.
So things are going to be different, and it's going to be that way for a while. All we really have to do going forward is to keep a positive outlook, do our jobs to the best of our ability, and keep, positive moving forward.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's probably the best note we can leave it on the night. I have to say, I always learn something new from all these lives. And especially today when I saw that video of Brett the Hitman Hart saying, big up to DJ Outkast, he's the best there is, the best there was, the best.
I shed a tear, brother. We have a WWE guy inside here. So I know this conversation was going to be lit. But at the same point in time, I really want to thank you for the time and the knowledge that you shared with everybody. No, thank you. Thank you and Groove Theory for what you guys are doing. This outlet is a fantastic thing. It is great for DJs, seasoned and newcomers to the game. It is a great outlet. I hope one day, if I ever get to touch Trinidad and Tobago, that I can visit you guys and
for real.
You guys and work with you guys, because the initiative that you guys have, it is an absolutely great thing, and you have my 100% support and backing behind it, because Groove Theory is a great thing. Shout out to yourself, and shout out to Chacha and everybody else involved with Groove Theory. It is a wonderful thing you guys are doing, and I respect what you guys are doing. I definitely more respect it. Holy hell, I only now seen the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah. I
love it.
Yeah. That is here every week. That is here every live. It's here every live.
I love it. Doing what you guys are doing. I love what you guys are doing. The positivity. They're still bringing a little humor in here and there to keep the conversation engaging. And shout out to everybody from St. Martin on this live. I see a lot of people.
St. Martin people, man. Yeah, man.
I love the vibes, man. And I do hope one day, I don't know when or how yet, that I can still one day come to Trinidad. I don't even care if I'm not playing. I just want to experience what Trinidad is about.
Yeah, well, we'll work it out somewhere. We definitely will. So, again, stay safe, bro. You and I will keep in touch. And Club Quarantine Radio this week. We'll make sure and check it out.
Yeah,
right?
Saturday we're doing the final one.
Right, good. Right.
Saturday we're doing the final one. So anybody who wants to tune in, it is much appreciated for that.
All right, buddy. Thanks a lot for tuning in with us tonight. All right.
Thank you.